The internet went quiet for a moment, then suddenly, it exploded again. Out of nowhere, a new voice joined the chaos surrounding Diddy's sentencing. But this time, it wasn't a lawyer, a reporter, or even a fan. It was US President Donald Trump. At first, no one could believe it. Reporters thought it was a joke until they heard it for themselves. During an interview, Trump leaned forward and casually said, "You know, I think Diddy got a lot of leniency. It actually turned out quite well for him." Those few words hit like an earthquake. Just one sentence, and the entire conversation about Diddy's case changed. People didn't know whether to laugh, get angry, or agree. It was the kind of bold comment only Trump could make, direct, controversial, and guaranteed to stir things up. Within minutes, clips of his statement were everywhere. Twitter, or X, blew up with reactions. Some people asked, "Why is Trump defending Diddy?" Others made memes, adding his voice over courtroom footage and making jokes about it. But for people closely following the case, it wasn't just another viral moment, it was a spark. Because when Trump speaks, the world listens, and headlines follow. This time, though, his words weren't just political. They carried a tone that reignited public anger. He almost sounded proud, as if Diddy's lighter sentence was something worth celebrating. For many, that was like adding salt to an old wound. The idea that someone as powerful as Trump could look at everything Diddy was accused of and still call it a good outcome made people furious. Before we dig deeper into this shocking statement, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our explosive new updates. Now, let's get back to it. The timing couldn't have been worse, or maybe more perfect. Diddy's sentencing had already divided the country. Some people saw Diddy's sentencing as justice. Others saw it as proof that money and fame can protect you. But when Trump spoke up, it added a whole new twist to the story. Now, it wasn't just about Diddy anymore, it was about power recognizing power. People began to wonder, why would Trump say that? Was he being sympathetic? Sarcastic? Or was there something deeper behind his words, a glimpse into how the rich and powerful see justice? TV hosts played the clip over and over again. Trump's voice echoed across news stations. It turned out quite well for him. Analysts called it a clever political move. Some said Trump was just doing what he always does, putting himself back in the spotlight by jumping into the biggest pop culture scandal of the moment. But for millions watching, it didn't feel random at all. This was Trump reminding everyone that when powerful people fall, there's always someone like him ready to defend them. And just like that, the storm came roaring back. What started as a courtroom verdict had now turned into a nationwide argument about privilege, influence, and the deep connection between money, fame, and politics. Trump didn't just comment on Diddy, he reopened an old wound that had never truly healed. As his words spread across America, one thing became clear: this story was far from over. Trump's comments spread like wildfire, twisting through social media in every direction. Within minutes, thousands of posts appeared, each one breaking down every single word he said. Some people claimed Trump was hinting at corruption. Others believed he was just being himself, using Diddy's name to pull the cameras back toward him. But everyone agreed on one thing: his words had completely changed the conversation. The internet wasn't just talking about Diddy's sentence anymore. It was now asking why one of the most powerful men in the world sounded so comfortable saying it turned out well. News outlets rushed to get the full clip. It happened during a casual chat at a public event. When Trump was asked about celebrity cases, Diddy's name came up. He smirked and said, "They gave him a break, a big one. But that's how it goes for certain people." His tone was smooth, almost amused, and that made it even more controversial. It didn't sound like outrage, it sounded like understanding. And the reaction was immediate. CNN flashed a headline that read, "Trump defends Diddy." Meanwhile, Fox News spun it another way: "Trump says Diddy's case proves system bias." Both headlines sent shockwaves through the media. One side accused Trump of downplaying Diddy's crimes. The other claimed he was actually calling out the justice system he's long said was rigged. The confusion was no accident, it was classic Trump. He didn't explain himself, leaving everyone to argue over what he really meant. Online, the theories spread like wildfire. Some people believed Trump was defending Diddy because he admired his power and influence, two things Trump knows all too well. Others thought he was mocking the justice system, pointing out how the rich always seem to walk free while the rest suffer the consequences. But one take went viral above the rest. A TikTok creator posted Trump's comment with the caption, "Power recognizes power." Within hours, the video had millions of views. Across Reddit and Twitter, the arguments turned heated. People began comparing Trump and Diddy, two men from totally different worlds, yet somehow connected by wealth, fame, and controversy. "This is what happens when billionaires talk about billionaires," one post read. "They don't see criminals, they see survivors." But while the internet argued, something deeper was happening. Trump's words had ripped open the same wounds that Diddy's sentencing left behind. Cassie's supporters, survivor advocates, and activists called his comment a cruel insult. One tweet went viral, "He said it turned out well for Diddy. Try saying that to the women who lived through his abuse." That single post got over 500,000 likes in just 24 hours. Behind all the noise, one thing was becoming clear. Trump's comment wasn't just another opinion, it was a spark that set everything ablaze again. It brought back the heated debate about how much power and fame can twist justice in America. To some people, what he said confirmed that the system is broken. To others, it sounded like a warning, that the powerful will always look out for their own, no matter what. The conversation suddenly changed again, and what was supposed to end quietly with Diddy's sentencing was now all over the news. Diddy's name was trending once more, but this time, it was side by side with Trump's. Two powerful men, one controversial comment, and a reminder to the world that when power speaks, it doesn't whisper, it roars. Right after Trump's words hit the internet, the focus shifted from the courtroom to the court of public opinion. People who had once argued endlessly about Diddy's innocence were now analyzing Trump's every move, every word, every smirk, every pause. TV panels replayed his interview non-stop. Some political experts claimed Trump did it on purpose, to grab attention and shift the narrative. Others said it revealed what he truly thinks about justice, not as something about right or wrong, but as a game of power and leverage. Then, a former federal prosecutor said something that instantly went viral. "When Trump says it turned out well, he's not talking about fairness. He's talking about privilege, the kind that money buys." That single statement summed up the outrage spreading online. Hashtags like #JusticeForTheRich and #DiddyPrivilege exploded across social media. People were angry, because at that point, it wasn't just about Diddy anymore. It was about how the rich and powerful, from Trump to moguls like Diddy, always seemed untouchable in ways ordinary people could never dream of. But what really pushed things over the edge was the timing. Diddy had just been sentenced. His family was still processing the reality that he'd be behind bars. And then Trump suddenly entered the picture, turning what should have been a serious moment into a media storm. Critics accused Trump of knowing exactly what he was doing, using Diddy's sentencing to make a point about influence, and to remind everyone just how connected he still is to the biggest stories in America. "He hijacked the story," one journalist wrote. "He made Diddy's sentence about himself. That's Trump's true talent." Inside Diddy's camp, there was total silence. No statements. No interviews. Not even a word from his lawyers. But insiders revealed that Diddy's legal team was furious. They believed Trump's comment could cause unnecessary drama just when they were quietly working on Diddy's appeal. One former associate even told a reporter, the last thing Sean needed was Trump turning his case into a headline. But by then, it was already too late, the wave had hit. People started digging up old clips and photos of Trump and Diddy from their entertainment days. They had been seen together at parties, charity events, and award shows back in the early 2000s. Suddenly, those photos were everywhere again, with captions like, "They've known each other for years." That's when the theories began multiplying. Maybe Trump's comment wasn't random. Maybe it came from loyalty. Maybe it was protection. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a smart move to keep Trump's name buzzing among younger audiences who grew up watching Diddy's rise to fame. What made the whole thing even wilder was how effortlessly Trump slipped that comment into the national conversation. He didn't shout it from a podium. He just dropped it like a whisper, and the internet did the rest. It reminded everyone just how easily Trump could shift the world's attention with a single sentence. "He controls attention like oxygen," one commentator said. And now, he's breathed new life into Diddy's story. By the end of the day, the hashtag Trump and Diddy was everywhere. Some joked that it sounded like the title of a reality show, but others weren't laughing. They said this was a mirror, a reflection of America's obsession with fame, wealth, and scandal. Two powerful men. One sentenced. One still free. Both dominating the headlines, both stirring outrage. And in the middle of it all, a country still arguing over whether justice means anything anymore. As the story spread, the noise only grew louder. It wasn't just entertainment reporters talking anymore. Now, political analysts, civil rights activists, and even former judges were joining the conversation. What was supposed to be the end of a dark chapter in Diddy's life had turned into something much bigger, a reflection of America's ongoing struggle with justice and privilege. Trump's words, short, smug, and sharp, ripped that wound wide open again. It turned out quite well for him, he said. And those 9 words became the headline that just wouldn't die. The difference between the two men couldn't have been clearer. On one side was Diddy, a fallen music mogul, sitting in a cold federal cell at MDC Brooklyn, staring at the walls as his freedom slipped away. On the other side was Trump, a billionaire and former president, standing under golden lights, laughing casually about how another rich man got off easy. For millions watching, that image said it all. It was a picture of everything broken about power in America. Inside TV studios, producers scrambled to rewrite scripts. Anchors reshuffled their segments. MSNBC called Trump's comment tone-deaf, while conservative hosts defended him, saying he had the right to speak freely. But the public wasn't fooled. They didn't hear just a casual opinion, they heard arrogance. The sound of privilege speaking to privilege. And deep down, people knew there was truth in what he said, even if it was uncomfortable. Some legal experts pointed out that Diddy's 4-year sentence was already lighter than what prosecutors had wanted. This isn't mercy, one commentator said. This is what happens when you can afford the best lawyers money can buy. But Trump's comment twisted that legal reality into a cultural explosion. He made it sound like the system wanted to help Diddy, like the rich had their own secret set of rules. Soon, memes started flooding the internet, Trump and Diddy shaking hands behind courtroom doors, or Trump whispering into a judge's ear. It was all satire, but the anger behind it was real. People started asking, what does Trump know that we don't? TikTok creators broke it down, connecting the dots, both men rich, both accused of abusing power, both surrounded by controversy. It wasn't hard to see why Trump's comment hit so differently. It wasn't just about Diddy anymore, it was about an entire class of people who seemed to live above consequences. Meanwhile, Diddy's name was back at the top of trending lists everywhere. And in the end, one image refused to leave anyone's mind: Diddy sitting quietly behind the glass at MDC Brooklyn, his eyes empty, his face cold. The world outside kept arguing about his fate, but inside, he just sat there, like a man who had finally run out of fight. Somewhere far away, Trump's words still echoed, cold, sharp, unforgettable. Because that was the real story, not just Diddy's sentence, but the system behind it. Not just the fall of a superstar, but a painful reminder that even when justice is served, it's never truly equal for everyone. And with that, the world moved on, but that image of Diddy behind the glass? It stayed. If this story kept you watching till the end, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because more shocking real-life stories like this are coming your way. You won't want to miss what's next.